Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Talk. I'm Kellen and I'm happily your host. We have two sponsors for today's show, and I'd like to share those with you right now. We have Blue Sky Video Productions for your YouTube. If you need a YouTube strategist, a live stream consultant, or video producing like he does for my show, you definitely need to call Bruce Himmelblau at Blue Sky Video Productions. And my second sponsor is Cards That Wow, handmade paper art note cards to make your personal or corporate brand wow. So today I have an amazing guest, and she has helped countless numbers of professionals to improve their LinkedIn profiles, build their businesses, build their brand. And she is one of Bruce's, Blue Sky Video Productions, newest clients. I am incredibly humbled to introduce to you the fabulous Bren Tillman.
Woo-hoo! I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you so much.
And I have a card that wows, and it wows me. It is amazing. It is so on brand for me, and I love it.
Thank you.
So I have both the card that wows and the client of both sponsors. I feel
woo. Well, thank you later. Checks in the mail. So let's see. Michelle has joined us. Yeah, she agrees that you're fabulous. We all agree you're fabulous.
I think you're all fabulous.
I think that we could spend 4 days talking about your expertise in LinkedIn. And I know that I am guilty of not updating my LinkedIn, and now I've been pushed because of you being in our group that I feel an obligation that I will start doing that. So, but before we jump in about the LinkedIn stuff, let us know about your family, about you, about Bren.
Ooh, my family. I love my fammy.
Oh, good.
There's so many things to say. I am 3.5 months, whatever, January 2nd, 2021, I'm due to be a grandma.
That's an
amazing thing. I have a funny story to tell about that, but my daughter been married for 2 years, and so we got a COVID baby, and the first thing I sent her was a onesie that says, clearly my parents did not stay 6 feet apart. So that's my little gift. So very, very excited about that. I have my babies are 18-year-old twin boys that are seniors in high school, and we are waiting with bated breath on college acceptances. Hoping that's in the next couple weeks. And I have 2 fabulous stepsons and a dog. And I had my mom's cat for the last 6 months, but he went back to her because she's home now from nursing home, back home. She got her cat back. That's my family. My husband of
awesome.
I don't know, almost 20.
Will the twins be going to the same school, or are they applying to different schools?
They are. So they have it. We have a deal. If they go to a state school, I pay. If they go to a private school, they have loans. Right. So that's our deal. I mean, state school's $32,000 each a year.
Oh yeah,
crazy. So yeah. I'm fine with that, but I'm not paying $70 each. Good. Right. That's So they both decided state school it is. I'm in Pennsylvania, so Penn State is it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and they both applied, but they were in the group that never took their SATs because they were canceled the weekend that. So we're hoping they get in without SATs.
Yes. Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Let's see. Phil Jilks is here. He says, hello, awesome lady leaders. Hi, Phil. And then Michelle, she says, oh, what is the sweet baby going to call you?
Bubby.
Bubby. That's awesome.
I'm going to get t-shirts that says, call me Bubby.
I'll make you a card.
Yeah.
This card's from Bubby. So, let's get back to LinkedIn. That's what people are most curious about. I know that there's a lot of, that LinkedIn is completely or underutilized by a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And that's basically how I got my introduction to you. And I joined in one of the webinar things that you had. And I mean, that alone helped me with a lot of stuff. But what are some of the easy things that the common mistakes and the easy fixes, because redoing your whole LinkedIn is a bit overwhelming, and I think we should do this.
Well, so we could talk about profile mistakes, blunders, and bloopers, or we can just kind of give a couple of tips, which might be more productive. We'll start there, then I'll talk about like where people are failing miserably and what they can do differently. So your profile, if you're in a business development role, do not listen to me if you're in job search role, because there are two very different profiles. If you're in a job search role, it is vital that bots can find you. And your profile has to really be designed in a way that attracts your, not just your hiring managers, but the bots, right? Like that it's vital, because they'll skip over you if your profile is wrong for that. And I don't know the answer to that. I have a couple people I refer when people come to me and say, I want it for job search. This that I'm about to talk about is all about business development. So first, if you're in business development, it does not need to be a resume. We don't, because your buyers don't care about that. It should be a resource, which means that you are actually not just telling them how you can provide value, you're actually providing value. There's formulas, right? Like of how to do this. But number one, you need to attract, teach, and engage. So how do you attract them? One, you've got to make sure that you resonate with them when they go, yep, this is for me. We need to teach them something new that gets them thinking differently. And the attract piece really comes out of curiosity and you have to create curiosity and resonate. That's the attract piece. The teach piece is I've got to provide insights that get you thinking differently about your current situation. You want to get the tilted head.
The pug tilt.
The pug tilt. If your profile can create the pug tilt, you're doing it right. I love that. Okay. Once we do that, we need to talk just briefly about the value that we bring it in, right? We've got to be able to do that. Oh, you can come back in. I like when we're both on. I like to see your face. I don't like to talk to my face. I like to talk to your face. Oh, that's so. I like your face better. And then we have, we talk just one or two lines about what we do in a call to action so that they know we're available to talk. Okay. Then we want to make sure that they know what it is that we do. But before that, you started with, I want to hear about your family. Why? Because we connect with people personally. It's important. We're doing business human to human. We want to treat the person on the other side of our LinkedIn, of our profile, of our messaging, the same way we would on the other side of the table. So we need to get to know them and they need to get to know us.
Right.
Talk about, in experience, don't start talking about your mission, your passion, yours in business. You can get to that. But talk about your why. How did you end up here? Right? Like I just worked with someone yesterday and he's a financial advisor, and his why was he watched his single mom budget and save and make some sacrifices so he could have, and he learned the importance of money, right? Love that why. I have a client who ended up also in insurance, financial advising insurance. She had a house fire when she was 11. Her dad passed away from the smoke inhalation. There was no life insurance. So that's her why, right? There are these emotional connections to why we do what we do, right? Part of his story is from the time, the first gentleman, part of his story was he was a coin collector. He loved to count money. That he had this passion for money very early on and was influenced. Those stories connect us with the other human beings. So we want to include those for sure. Kellyanne, what's your why?
Well, I've been thinking about that since the COVID, the whole pandemic thing with Jeffrey Gitomer's course, and like my why, my philosophy. And I've determined it is that I love to help people. And this is part of my service of that. I bring people, amazing people like you that can help anyone who's listening build their business, recover. I continue that with my pug rescue. I help senior dogs. And I just want to offer, something that will help somebody help themselves, and then hopefully they will pass that on.
So I love that. So that's great. That's your why. There's an origin to your why. And if we can bring that in, like,
okay.
So if we get to your origin to why, like many of us can say we like to help people. I mean, the fact that, right. I mean, and that's a wonderful thing, but to connect with your why is so important. So why do you get so much satisfaction from helping people? Right? Like what happened? Was there a moment? And sometimes it takes a while and you're like, this kid in 4th grade was struggling with reading and they asked me to sit with him and, now he could read and it made me feel so fulfilled that I wanted to help you. You don't know, like, what is this there? Everything of who we are today was influenced by something.
Right.
So you can dive deep into that. And people love those little stories about us.
Okay.
So I think that's important. So major, definite purpose is key. Our why, our reasons, great stuff, ladies. Yeah, MDP. I never heard of major definite purpose. I love that. Yeah, I mean, I talk about my first job out of college and how I ended up in sales, right? Out of simple boredom, I ended up a salesperson. So that's like my little story, right? So, there's so many different ways to attack a LinkedIn profile, but you want to connect with people and you want to provide real value. Okay, next, what are they doing wrong? This is, in my opinion, so there were a lot of silver linings for me through COVID. I'm in Corona and quarantine, and I'm deeply saddened for the people that have been affected. My business did rather well. Some of it, piece has to do with the Gittimers. They were phenomenal to me through all of this, and right place, right time kind of thing with teaching LinkedIn for sales when we're working remotely was kind of the right place to be. The negative that came out of LinkedIn is everyone got, and I understand, desperate, because I'm not going to trade shows or conferences or business card exchanges where I would typically meet my new prospects. So let's jump into LinkedIn and just throw as much on the wall and hope it sticks.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are like everyone else on LinkedIn, you are getting pitched 3 to 5 times a day. And it's a real problem. So what I would say, kind of easy tip, right? So we've got our profile set up to be more of a resource than a resume. Now, when we're doing outreach, first of all, connect with less people on LinkedIn so you can connect with more of them in real life. Like, don't make this throw as much on the wall and hope something will stick. Be purposeful. Connect with a reason for sure. If we were in a business card exchange or a networking meeting and I walked up to you and I said, "Hi, Kellen, really nice to meet you. Can I tell you how I help other businesses like yours be successful?" You'd be like, "What? What? Like, let me tell you how I've been able to help companies just like yours double and triple their revenue in 90 days. You'd be like, "You just what?" Right? Like, nobody does that. So why do we do it on LinkedIn? Because we don't know the right way to do things. And we're like, we need to sell fast because we're desperate, right?
Bren, you want to know what I did? I would go to networking meetings and I'd walk up to complete strangers and I'd say, and they'd have a name tag and I'd go, "Oh, Bob, nice to see you again. How are you doing? Do you remember me?" And I'd never met him before. And then they would go like, "Oh, Kellen, nice to meet you." So I had a conversation right off the bat.
Oh my God.
And a good laugh later.
You revealed your secret afterwards?
Yeah. No, I'm just messing with you. I go, "I'm Kellen. I'm with the da-da-da-da, how," and then it started. That was my conversation starter.
That's so fun. That's fun. I mean, there's so many ways to start a conversation, but you would not say, hey, can I tell you how cards can really impact the relationship that you have with your client? You wouldn't start with that. You'd have a conversation. So treat the person on the other side of the computer the same way you would if they were on the other side of a table. Just start with conversation. In fact, that's my blog post coming up Wednesday.
Nice.
It's written already. Is tomorrow Wednesday? Yeah, it comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's got to be, we can't think of people any differently just because we're not in front of them. They're still the same person that you would have met if they were at a trade show or a business card exchange.
Yeah, no, totally.
Okay. So, we've got Faye and Eric. Oh, we got lots of fun people on now.
We got Alan says good morning to both of us and congratulations to you. Hi, Eric. Alan there. Congratulations.
Good morning. What am I getting? Congratulations for baby grandmom.
I bet that's it.
Baby, Mega Bren. I love it, Eric. Yeah. Good morning.
There's Soup.
Hi, Ray.
Hey, Michelle. If we have some time at the end, do you want to come on and talk about your big deal that you got because of?
Yeah, we could do it now. And I just saw her on my last class, so I know she looks beautiful. She's dolled up.
I know, she's so gorgeous. So people with they're like get to do something more personal with the header part, speak to people. So it's always I always have challenge writing because I like to connect with somebody. I find someone that I want to connect with. Oh, she said yes.
Yeah.
I just sent her the link, so hopefully.
Yeah. Well,
But when you write a note to connect, because you shouldn't just hit connect. You should write a note.
So if you hit connect, that's like you walk into that business card exchange going, hi, I'm Bren. Hi, just handing out cards, collecting cards. You don't do that. Like, I really want everybody to look at this like it's their 24/7 online networking meeting. Act as accordingly. Do not just collect business cards so that you can put them on a rubber band in the corner of your desk.
Right.
What good is that? We need conversation. So if you were to go to a networking meeting, you would want to meet 4 or 5 people and have a relationship. You don't need to work the entire room. You need to just have a conversation with 4 or 5 great people in the couple hours that you're there, maybe a little more, but less on LinkedIn. Just, it's not a numbers game all the time. I mean, I know we're in sales and there's a piece of getting in front of a lot more people, but if they don't know you, what's the point? Who cares if you have a connection if they don't know who you are? So start that conversation. It's so important. And there's so many ways to do that. You can start a conversation by engaging on their content. Go look at the content that they've shared and start engaging on that content. Right. You can start a conversation by saying, hey, Kellen Ann, I see that we have Michelle Vincent in common. How well do you know her?
Okay.
Right. What a great way to start a conversation. She's fabulous. She took one of my classes, right? Right. How well do you know her? And now we can start a conversation around a mutual friend, right? Which could be if you're in a networking meeting and you see your buddy talking to another person and you walk up like, hey, how do you guys know each other? Oh, you just met today? Okay, great. Or you've known each other for years. That's, it's just conversation. Find things.
Right. Yeah. So I'm going to mute myself for a moment. The mowers are going to start running here, so I'll be right back.
Can you hear my dog barking like crazy in the back?
No, not at all. This mower is loud. So, okay. So, what was my other question? So how do you think, should they have like some sort of plan to tackle all these little nuances to make it work?
I mean, there's so many things we could do. Like there's prospecting and there's content and there's networking and there's engaging on conversations and other people's content. So yeah, I mean, putting together sort of what your daily playbook looks like is great. We've got to engage on our notifications, look at who's viewing our profile, look at who's accepted our connection request to start a conversation, look at our outstanding connection requests. Maybe I go, okay, I'm going to have a conversation with a client that loves me in a few hours. I want to look at his connections and bring a list to, to that conversation. So there's so many things to do. We actually have a day in the life of a social seller ebook that kind of talks about what, times and how long it takes to do all these things. Anyone can access it in contentlibrary.com. So I don't know if it's just content library. Oh, no, it's not. It's linkedinlibrary.com. Wrong one. Sorry. Rewind. linkedinlibrary.com. We call it the content library, but the URL is linkedinlibrary.com. There's there's also webinars and things, but there's a day in the life of a social seller, which is sort of, what can you do every day?
Cool. So what are some hidden secrets that maybe you've discovered that you would be willing to share?
Yeah.
Eric.
Oh my God, I have so many MySpace stories. Yeah, I do. I have many MySpace stories, but no. The good news is I just leverage what works. I don't start or stop anything. So secrets. So the biggest thing for most people that have clients or networks of people that love them is leveraging who they know to make introductions for one another. So one of the things which we have not talked about because I'm brand new to the Mega Minds group is the thought of one-on-one sessions with each of us. Like every week we have a one-on-one session and we open up our network to one another and say, who do you want to meet? And we make introductions for each other. That, there's how many people are in the group?
21.
21, right? So that means there's 9 to 10 weeks of one-on-ones, right? Mm-hmm. So of that, let's say you and I are the first to pair up and we do one-on-ones and I introduce you to 10 people. And so for the next week, you get 10 introductions to 10 people. That's 100 people in a 10-week period of people that now get introduced to you at a high level of credibility. Mm-hmm. It's magic. And I'm wrong. I'm not good at math. It's 19, 20 people, 20 people, because
right.
I just cut it in half, but no, you're the only one that's you, right? So there's 20 weeks. So that's with 21 people. So that's 200 new introductions. And if we vet them well, half of the people, half of the 10 that I say, hey, these are great people, will connect with you and have a conversation because I asked them to. Your network, you go, oh my gosh, this is my best friend in college. She'll take your call. Fabulous. I'm leveraging your credibility to take my call. You're leveraging mine.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you say, what's the number one secret, that would be it.
I love that. And it's so simple and common sensey, right?
Well, because I could say, Kellens, who do you know that's VP of sales that needs training? And you're like, I don't know. I can't think of anyone. But you may know 16 people that you're connected to, but they didn't come top of mind.
Right.
So you've got thousands of connections. Right. So that's the number one way to use it, in my opinion.
Okay. Michelle is here. So Bruce is going to bring her in.
Woo! Hey, lovelies. How are you?
I want a screenshot of this.
Okay. I'll do it. Okay. Hold on. Ready? Smile. Got it.
Yay. Yay. Hey, good morning again, Bren.
I love it. Love it.
Okay. So y'all, let me tell you about what Bren Tillman has done for me. Okay. She's putting my daughter through college and she's putting my son through grad school and buying me the mascara that I want. Okay. Let me tell you. Okay. If you put the deals together, I've got $4.5 million that I can pretty much lay at Bren Tillman's feet. Okay. So, and you know what I did was listen to her. That's what I did. I listened to her. It would all start back with Bren teaches a sales navigator course, and that's where I started. So I could really pinpoint exactly who I needed to be targeting, not messing around with people. You've got probably 2,500 connections that you're never going to do any kind of business with. So she made me realize that doesn't mean anything. That's not going to help me propel my business forward. So I pinpointed exactly who I needed. Okay. Sales Navigator is wonderful. And Bren just spoon feeds it to you like a baby. Okay. I mean, I got it. So there you go. Okay. Then, I just was friendly and just talked to them just like we're talking now, and not any kind of the big sign in and pitch right away. And now I despise that more and more every day when I see people doing that to me. But we just had conversation and got to know each other better. That was it. She also gives some tips in her the social selling course that she does. On things to talk about. I utilize Feedly. I got that from Bren. I will share an article, and I learned how to share an article. Don't just share the article, but read the article and say, hey, this is the part that I loved. Hey, this is the part that I think might really help you out. This is what caught my interest. Maybe it will yours too. Things that are, kind of basic, I guess, just the way we interact as humans. But I never thought of it until Bren told me. I thought I had to have this big trumped up kind of crazy, and no, you don't. So I started commenting, not just liking things. I mean, and that's good, but actually making comments that made some sense. Again, if you can't think of anything else, hey, I liked this part. And so then people started saying, hey, I've seen you around, I've seen your comment, and they feel like they have, you're a little more familiar to them. You're not just a stranger who's trying to pitch them. Mm-hmm. It worked. So $4.5 million later, here we are.
Yay!
Way to go.
And it's reaching out into your inbox too. It's not just posting it, but right. Now you identified all of your 2,500 the people we want to engage, and it's getting the content into their inbox. Right. So hey, Kellen, I know that you're really interested in helping people. Here's a list of the top 100 LinkedIn influencers that have helped people over the last year. But this might be helpful because I know that that's what you're into, right? It could be just an industry thing, right? It could be whatever their industry is. Hey, I came across this article on how to staff in a recession, right? Like, thought I'd get this in front of you. Is this something that you're exploring right now, right? Like, there's no pitch in that. And it's not even your own content.
No, I have yet to create really any viable content. I'm working on that. Also, I have yet to start working on the referrals, which is just gold. What is on referrals is truly gold. I haven't done that. And quite honestly, I haven't done that because I'm too busy with the business that I've gotten from the other stuff. So I got to kind of take care of that. And then I can, really work those referrals because again, there's no reason that it's not going to work. And it's just being genuine, because people can sniff out, your disingenuineness. Is that
phoniness
from a mile away?
So my friend Larry Levine, who everyone should follow, he does a podcast with Daryl Amy called Selling from the Heart. They're amazing. Calls that commission breath. They can smell commission breath a mile away, even through Zoom.
Well, they can't, because can't you? Of course we can. Of course we can.
Yeah.
Or the pitch in the LinkedIn invitation request.
Right.
I've got my standard things that I send to people based on what Bren taught me to do, and I tweak them up a little bit and custom, but it's all basically the same. I've got the framework there. It works. It absolutely works. So y'all listen to this lady.
Oh, thank you. I love that.
So when you said referrals, it just brought up a question. Should you ask people for referrals or endorsements, or should they just offer them to you?
Yeah. So there are 5 things we want from every client. Not all at once, but 5 things we want. We want more business. We want internal introductions or referrals. So are there other people inside the company that we can help? Or are there other people we should know so that we can socially surround our client? So we know that there's on average 20% turnover in every company every year. So 1 out of 5 of your decision makers in your client is leaving this year if you're B2B, right? So who else do I need to build rapport with? So when the new person comes in to replace my buyer, I've got allies that are helping me retain that account. Okay. External introductions. This is the referral piece. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. The 2 others are case studies or case stories and vendor introductions. Who else are they buying from that I can network with because we have similar clients? So let's go back to the referral piece. Those are the 5 things. The referral piece, we love when they come and we get them, but they're random, right? When the referrals come in. I think asking for referrals is fabulous, but I don't start with, hey, can you refer me into people? Or who do you know that could use my services the same way you have? Because your clients begin to, first of all, they get a heavy chest, like, oh my God, I'm going to have to make introductions. It's going to be so much work. Like, I don't want to do that. And I love them, but I don't have time. So we need to ask in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming. And so it might be something like, Michelle, I am so glad you got such value out of what we've done. The way that we've typically grown our network has been through warm referrals. I may not even say that. The way that we've, I'm going to change that. We're going to start over. So Michelle, I am so glad that you've been able to get such value from what we've done. I hope you don't mind, but I noticed you're connected to 23 people that I'm going to be reaching out to in the next couple of days. Can we jump on a call before I do? And maybe you could provide some insights, that can help me when I reach out. So now you no longer feel like I'm going to ask you I took that pressure off of you, right? So now we jump on the phone, we bring up the 23 names. You're like, oh, Kellen, she's awesome. Eric, I don't know about Eric. No, right? Yeah. So we go through the list. Of course, Eric, I want to be friends with you. No, but we go through the list, right? And 23 becomes 8. And so now there are 8 people that Michelle says, these people would be great. Awesome. Now, instead of putting this on you for the referral, because I know how busy you are, I'm going to say, hey, Michelle, thanks so much for this 15 minutes to review these names. Of these, when I reach out to these 8 people, can I mention that you're my client and you thought it made sense for me to introduce myself? Yes? Fabulous. Now I reach out. Kellen Ann, Michelle, Vincent, and I were chatting the other day and your name came up in our conversation. True, we were chatting, your name came up. She thought it made sense for me to reach out and introduce myself. Let's connect and I'll fill you in. Okay. Now we connect. Thanks for connecting with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to loop you in on what Michelle and I were chatting. She's been my client and and got some real value and thought that we'd be a great connection. When we jump on a call, I'm happy to offer insights around X, Y, and Z. If you're open, here's a link to my calendar. Half of them will schedule.
That's golden.
Mm-hmm. So out of 8, I'll get 4 calls.
That's a good percentage.
Phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, TD Bank, who is still my client, in fact, I have another training with them tomorrow, became my client after 3 years of being my prospect. And they were the fastest close I ever had on a client ever.
Wow.
So what happened? My client, Rob Petcove, knew Rob Curley at TD Bank, who I had been trying to get in front of for 3 years with no avail. Rob Curley gets a message from Rob Petcove, and I'm copied in it, that says you should really talk to Bren. In 20 minutes, I'm still with my client, Rob Petcove. I get a response that says Monday morning, 10 a.m. Here's the address. Wow. So I get there, and he's sitting there, and he says, go. You're like,
oh, geez.
So I said, well, how did I get here? Why am I here? Clearly you don't seem interested, but why am I here? Because Rob Petcove is one of my favorite people. And if he asks me to do something, I'm doing it for him. So I said, if I can show your commercial lenders how to do the same thing. He looked over at his calendar. He said, our next meeting is on this date. Are you available? And by the way, how much is it? It was the fastest close I ever had. And this was now 8 years ago, and they're still my client. So, right. So they are gold, Brad, 100%. They are gold. And so when we can start to leverage our referrals in a way that gets us in the door in places that never would have taken our call, it's absolutely the most powerful tool that we have available to us for sales.
It is. So we have to wrap things up in a little bit because Bruce has another obligation.
I do too. So it's perfect timing.
Yes. So my take on this, of course, has to do with the pug tilt. So I'm going to change my LinkedIn page so that people will look at it and go, huh. And this is your opportunity to, do you have any courses coming up or anything that you would like to promote?
I do. We
tell people how they can get a hold of you.
Our public class starts tomorrow at linkedInclass.com. There's always a free webinar at linkedinwebinar.com. I don't even know when the next one is, probably once a month. So it's November, but I don't know when. And that one's on converting connections to conversations. And yeah. And then go to linkedinlibrary.com for some stuff that's on demand, including the ebook on the day in the life. Yeah. So if you go, so that's if you go to socialsaleslink.com, you get to the content library, you can click there, or you can go to linkedinlibrary.com.
Nice. Thank you so much, Bren. It was so love talking to you and having you here. I'm going to shamelessly promote one more time Blue Sky Video Productions for producing videos, YouTube strategy. He's your guy. And of course, I sent you your cards already. So usually I bring these out and say, this is my gift to you for being on the show, but you have yours. And oh, here comes Michelle, my new corporate branding gift. So I'd like to, let's see, next week I have John Dawson. He's going to be a major rock star. He's a TikTok fame. So until next week, Michelle, thank you for joining us too.
Yeah, we're having me crash.
We're like the trifecta of the girls, you know.
I love it.
I hope everybody has a great day, and I'll see you next week.
Yay!